Hello, welcome to the video. Tried to get a few things ready for you today and kind of have not succeeded in doing everything that I would like to do. So I'm going to show you what I've been working on and we will take it from there. So first of all, you can take a look at php.net. This has a listing of all the different things you can do with PHP, every function that they have written up. And when you pull up a function, this is a get function built into PHP, and you use it just doing the $_get. And what that does, it tells you here, it gives you an associative array that was passed to the of all the variables passed to the current script via the URL parameters, also known as the query string. So if you look at something like this, if someone enters yourdomain.com/questionpark name equals Haynes, then this code would output hello Haynes, because it's taking what came in as that get variable and puts it out to the screen. So the way we use this in programming is the project that I've been working on here for the past number of weeks and shown you a little bit about it and tried to clean it up and get it working a little bit better for you today. Lets you use the get variable to tell the program which page you're looking at, and then everything else is using the post variable. And the post variable is anything coming in from a form on a page where the action is set up as a post. So if we come in here and look up, I don't know if we're going to be able to find forms in here. So every form starts with form action equals, and that has a PHP file name in it as the action, and then it says method equals post. And by using a post, you then have a lot more memory space to use for the variables that you want to throw into a form. It's very good for having a very long form. And there's also a method of get in here that will throw it in as get variables, which would say when you click the completion of that form, the submit button, it would take all the variables on the screen and throw it into the URL so that it would be done on the address bar rather than inside a nice little package of an associated array that has all your labels of all your fields and all the content of all your fields contained together in a block. So it makes it a lot more easier to deal with by being able to use the post method. And that's usually what most programs do. It's very seldom that you see anyone using the get method on a form these days. So that's another little thing, and I'm going to show you what we have. I'm going to try to get it together and put a note up on YouTube for where you can download the source code for this. I'll be working on this after I show you what we're doing here. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull up and I changed the program so that when you run it on a local server like this, you can go through and put in your username, your password, and click save, and it comes up with a blank screen that says create the database. And when I click it, it comes up and it says the database was successfully created, and you can create sample data or add a client. So if I go in to add a client, it comes up to a blank screen and lets me put in, you actually can't put in an ID because it's going to take the next available number for you. But you can put in a name, an email, and a phone, and click on save. And rather than do that, I'm going to go back one, and I'm going to tell it to create sample data. And the create sample data creates 10 records for you of sample data. And if we look at that, it puts in random phone numbers, random emails, and random names, and allows you to go in and edit any of these names just to give you a jump start with anything. So if I come back to here, I could go add a client and put my own client information in and hit save. And then that would bring me back to here with my new record in it. And you can sit around and play with all these different things. And now I'm going to show you some of the source code that we have doing all this stuff. So this is the index file that starts the program out, which basically just has a style sheet in it, and it requires the class that I set up that has all the code in there for the running the client database for you, and then it says client run, and that starts out the program. And we come down back up to the top of this, and we have a few things defined at the beginning, and we set this all up. This is edit config, the first thing that comes up and says, put in your username and your password for your database. I'm running this on my local machine, which is running WAMP server, and it works perfectly fine for WAMP server. As soon as I went in to try to do it on a web host, I realized that there was issues with some of the code in here. So I will work on that over the next couple of weeks and try to get you a version of this that'll run on any host. So, and then once you get through filling that out, it saves the configuration and actually makes changes to this file here and puts in your username and your password into here. And so that's where I'd gotten to and was stumbling with that earlier. So I will be doing that for you in the next 2 weeks and hopefully have that available for you so you can actually do this on a web server. So anyways, this allows you to go in and put in information into a database and store it. And as we go along, we'll try to set up a search for it, lookups, and get the thing running and doing everything that we may want it to be able to do, besides just store the information for us. So this is all the code that goes through here, and as I was saying before about the get, so the first thing this does, it tags the run command, and here is the function run. So this is the main sequence, and this looks to say if is the get variable called action, is that set? And if it is not set, if it is set, it gets that variable and puts it into the action variable. If it's not, it uses the default list. So it goes through some logic things here and figures out what it's going to do in certain situations. And then after that, it looks to say, is action sample? If it is, create a sample set of data. If action is saved, then do the save process. So the action is something included on the command line. And that tells it which parts of the code to execute each time it goes through. So clicking on something on the web page will make it do something different. But it's all within one nice little package of one class. So it's not too complicated. So those are the get variables that it's using for that. And then I have an edit config that does a form with a post and an action. Now the action on here is the same as the name of my original file, and it's passing in an action equals save config to tell it to do something different. And then it throws out all this information here that you can fill in as you're running it. And then the save config gets the post variables, which is that other array that has all the post variables from a form that was filled out. And then it says, take the file config.php and open it for writing, and then put this information, and it concatenates predefined information that we need to put in there, and then puts that into that text file, and then it writes it out. And at that point, the screen is blank. And then we say create DB, which will pull that up on the screen so that you can click on it, and it creates the database, puts in the table that we're going to use for our client database. This is the function to create a sample set of data, and you can go in and play with this and do whatever you like. Like I say, I will get this up online so you can try it out and do some things with it. And here is the edit to edit an individual record of the database. And here's the function list that takes and throws all the data that it has out to the screen. Here's the function for adding a new record. So that's basically everything that I've done with this. So if anyone has any questions, any comments, can leave them in the comment section below the video, and I will get back to you in that as soon as I can. So thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, and I will be talking to you in a couple of weeks. Take care.